If you get to V1, you're going to go flying. You're not going to stop on the runway ahead of you. If you're prior to V1 and there's some engine failure, fire, whatever it is, and you're going to abort or reject the takeoff, you can do so in the remaining runway. You're going to stay on the ground. So they're past V1 now. So they're committed to go flying. They're at 153 knots. The V1 speed of 155 knots was achieved as per the flight data recorder at 080835. That's just 0.2 of a second, 0.02 of a second later. All right, the aircraft air-ground sensor transitioned to the air mode. I talked about that on yesterday's video. When you're on the ground, you're in the ground mode, and things are blocked out on the ground. For instance, if I were to inadvertently grab the landing gear handle and try to raise it, could you raise the landing gear on the ground? No, you're on the ground. The airplane knows that. That's blocked out. It won't let you do that. Could I deploy the rat on the ground? No. If I cut off both fuel control switches in the air, the rat would deploy. On the ground, no, you don't want that to happen, because every time I go to the gate and I set the parking brake, I cut fuel to the engines. So we want the rat to stay up. So the air logic is now in the air mode, consistent with liftoff at 08839. The aircraft achieved a maximum recorded airspeed of 180 knots, indicated airspeed, about 08842. This is just tenths of a second later. And immediately thereafter, watch this, the engine 1 and followed by engine 2 fuel cutoff switches transition from run to cutoff. Position one after another with a time gap of 1 second. Why is that significant in our theory that it was done by one of the pilots? Let's say for some reason they just weren't in the detent properly, which is not a thing, but they were, and the airplane was vibrating. And I've heard some people talk about, did they just vibrate out of that position? They would have done so probably at the same time. The fact that they did so 1 second apart from each other is consistent with how we start and how we cut off the engines. So I'm seated in my seat over here, and let's say I'm the first officer. The fuel control switches are to my left. The first officer always starts and shuts off the engines. That's their duty. As the captain, I would instruct the first officer to start the engines. At that point, on the ground, the first officer is going to reach up to the start switches and turn them to start, and then reach down to the fuel cutoff switch, which is in the cutoff position, lift it up and place it over the detent and let it go because it's spring-loaded. They are then going to grab the other one and do the exact same and let go of it. That whole transition takes about a second in between the two.